Welcome back, guys. We are here. My name is Wheva. We are here at the Cave Fairfax and Fairfax, Virginia, and we're here for another Whispers of the Old Gods review. And this time we're doing the Warrior class cards, and I'm a little sad. I mean, I'm not. I don't think I'm as sad as I am for Priest, but I'm a little sad because I think Warrior will probably be fine in the expansion. They have enough good cards already that maybe they're a little busted if they got anything good, so I don't know. Anyways, let's start off with the legendary 7 mana 6/5 Malkarok, which is a really cool lore character. If you guys are wondering, he's like right hand man to Garrosh, and he does a lot of really bad things, and he's a really bad guy, but he's a cool character. Anyways, Battlecry, equip a random weapon. So Blingtron just for yourself, and his stats are below average. Why couldn't they just say, equip a random warrior weapon from any expansion? And we have possibility getting Deathbite. Please, Blizzard? Please? Or maybe just equip, I don't know. Like, it just... There's so many bad things you can get from this. And it just, like, oftentimes when it pays off is not going... Like, often it's just going to be worse than anything else you would want to play on 7. I just don't see this card seeing play. Maybe it was 6 mana in testing, and they said this card was busted, so they had to buff it. Maybe I'm misreading this card, but I just don't see this card seeing play, ever. Because Warrior already has good weapons. They don't need to just get a random weapon. So I think this card is definitely a 1 out of 5. Unplayable. Ancient Shield Bearer. 7 mana 6/6. 7 mana 6/6. If your Sothoon has at least 10 attack, gain 10 armor. Okay. This card is really good in the Sothoon deck, except for the fact that it conflicts with the mana slot of another broken Sothoon card. It's a neutral Sothoon card that you're going to see later on. And the issue is that this card conflicts with that mana slot, which isn't as important in Control Warrior, but Sothoon Warrior is going to be very about playing on curve. Like, you're going to want to play your Beckoneeful, and then you're going to want to play that 3 mana, deal 2 damage, 2/1, and you're going to, like, you're going to want to play the Taunt card, and you're going to want to play on curve, and you're going to want to buff up your Sothoon. And this card conflicts with the best Sothoon card in the game, in mana. And that it feels like Sothoon Warrior really isn't going to be a thing, just because to run all the Sothoon cards and then run the Control Warrior shell, it's just too many cards and too many conflicting mana slots. So I definitely rate this card is good somewhat. In a vacuum, this card is really, really good, but I think it's not that good in general. Once you see the rest of the set. So I definitely going to give it a 3 out of 5. Because if you play Sothoon Warrior, you're going to play it, but you're not going to be that happy about it. 10 armor is a lot, but it's 7 mana 6/6 isn't that impressing. N'Zoth's First Mate. 1 mana 1/1 Battlecry, equip a Rusty Hook. Okay. This card, again, is another card in a vacuum, looks pretty solid. It's just, in Control Warrior, you have Fire War Axe. And then in Pirate Warrior, you have a ton of other weapons. And the thing is that this weapon conflicts with those weapons. And so you're already losing the, value out of this card. Like this is a card in any other class would have been nuts. Just in Warrior, I feel doesn't fit because Warrior already has enough good weapons. It has Fire War Axe and it's Gorehowl. And then if you're playing an aggressive warrior, it has Fire War Axe, Arcanet Reaper. So I don't think this. I think this card might see play. It's hard for me seeing it fitting in any of the shells it wants to go into. So I'm gonna give it like a 2 out of 5, just because it might see a little play in niche situations where warrior wants to kill 1 health minions early. Tentacle for arms. Okay. Jesus. 5 mana, 2/2 weapon. Death Rattle will turn this card to your hand. This card could be 2 mana and probably not see play. This is what I keep telling people. Because Fire War Axe is a card. And also, the fact that it's a 2 attack weapon just means it really can't kill anything. And the fact is you have to keep replaying this for 5 mana. Like, people talk about the infinite value, and the fact that your opponent can never get rid of this weapon is cool in a fatigue scenario. But the thing is, this weapon doesn't kill anything. It's not like it's a full attack weapon that keeps coming back and keeps killing things your opponent. It doesn't. So in the scenario where you just want a weapon that gets a ton of value for high mana cost, why not just play Gorehowl? Gorehowl just does it better. And so I don't see this card really ever seeing play. Because it just doesn't kill anything is the issue. The fact that you have to just keep replaying it again is an issue. So, 1 out of 5. And it might see play if it's like 2 mana or 3 in a super mega fatigue deck, but even then I don't see it. So that's my issue with it. Blood Warriors. 3 mana, add a copy of each damage friendly minion to your hand. This card was released by Life Coach, and he gave the best explanation for it. So basically it's a worse battle rage, because in Control Warrior no longer has Death Spite, so it's not really going to have as easily Whirlwind effects at its disposal. And like the most value you would get out of this is in Control Warrior, but then again, as Control Warrior you usually don't have many minions on the board, so it's just, and these days most Control Warriors don't really play minions at all. So I think this card just isn't gonna. It's worse than Battle Rage, because in a more tempo-based deck, I think you just rather draw directly from your deck and pay 1 less mana for it. And on top of that, it draws a card from your Battle Rage draws a card when your face is damaged, so you get 1 more card on average off of it for 1 less mana. And you rather just draw combo pieces than you rather get duplicates of minions you already have on the board. So this card is like 2 out of 5 and might see play in the future, but I doubt it. Battle Rage is just better. This is the Shaman card I was talking about in the Shaman video. For some reason it's here in this album. Anyways, let's move on. Ravaging Ghoul. 3 mana, 3/3. This is a card I was talking about earlier in the Mage video. Battle Cry, deal 1 damage to all other minions. I wish this did damage to itself, first of all, and it was a 3/4. So it was better with Battle Rage. Second, it's higher mana that I would like for an effect like this. I think Whirlwind is just straight up better. It's too flexible. It's more flexible than this. And with a Whirlwind effect like this, you want flexibility, not value, which is what this gives you. I mean, the card is good in a vacuum. It just, with the cards it wants to be played with, it doesn't work out as well as you probably think. So it's good in scenarios where you want, like, to remove a bunch of one minion. So you might see this as a one-of in Control Warrior. Again, it's a good card in a vacuum. It just doesn't work out with the card you want to play it with. So I'm gonna give it like a 3 out of 5. Might be a one-of, and it's good in a vacuum. Probably we'll see play in Arena. Bloodhoof Brave. This is a really solid. It's a solid card. It's gonna basically fill the void of. Anyways, I should probably explain it first. 4 mana, 2/6 taunt and rage plus 3 attack. It's gonna fill the void of Sludge Belcher, definitely. Which is what Warrior is missing. And this plus Shield Maiden could be pretty good. The fact that it has its own 4 mana with 2 attack isn't that big of a deal because after the first attack it enrages. It also gives your opponent counterplay, which I think is cool. Like, even though as a Warrior player you don't want your opponent to have counterplay, I think in general for game that's a cool factor of it. Adds a skill cap to the game. But 4 mana 2/6 is decent stats for a taunt because you want more health on a taunt. Then after the first attack, or if you were to manage to get a whirlwind effect on this, it becomes a 4 mana 4/5 or whatever damage is dealt to it. Reduce that. So, like, it's decent. It isn't blowing me away. It'll probably be played in Control Warrior because it's the best taunt that they're gonna have access to. But it isn't insane, so I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. We'll see playing Control Warrior and, I guess, Taunt Warrior, Bolster Taunt Warrior, if that's somehow a thing. I doubt it will ever be. So 3 out of 5 for this card. Bloodsail Cultist. 3 mana, 3/4, so baseline stats pretty much at this point. 3 mana, 3/4 is baseline, I think. And then Battlecry, if you control a pirate, give your weapon +1/+1. This card in a pirate deck is really good. It is. This card is cool. But is Pirate Warrior going to be a thing is my question when I come across this card. This card may be able to make Pirate Rogue maybe a tier 2 deck and something to bring to a tournament in certain metas, but we're gonna have to see. I really don't know. The issue I have, actually thinking about it, Blood Warriors and like if we go back to Blood Warrior, look at this card and Pirate Warrior. This actually might be a thing that we see it in Pirate Warrior because you actually want to copy your pirate minions because you just want more pirates to synergize it with each other more. So that might be actually where we see Blood Warriors. But this card, if Pirate Warrior is a thing, it's going to see play. If Pirate Warrior isn't a thing, it actually might see play even without Pirate Warrior. We have to see because you play Fireworks on 2 and then you play this and Fireworks becomes a 4/2, which is really solid. So actually I think this card is going to see a lot of play in Control Warrior because as a card you can play on curve, it's decent stats, and then it synergizes well with Fire War Axe. It'll probably be a one-off. It's weird because if you don't have Fire War Axe, you're losing part of its effect, and it's not that good with Gore. It actually can be insane with Gorehowl in the later stages because it can allow you hit your opponent in the face twice with Gore. This card, I think, is definitely a one-of in Control Warrior. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 because it can make Pirate Warrior actually a thing, and it's probably going to be a one-of in Control Warrior. So, yeah. A 4 out of 5. Probably the best Warrior card we've seen so far. Probably maybe even of the set. Blood to Ichor. 1 mana. Deal 1 damage to a minion if it survives. Summon a 2/2 slime. So what we compare this to is Slam. Because It's very similar to Slam in its effect. It deals 1 damage if that minion survives. Instead 2 damage for 1 mana, and if that minion survives, summon 2/2 slime. So it's like an execute procer. Or like a divine shield remover, and it gives tempo. So like this card, it isn't too impressing. People are talking about Patron, but I don't think this fits in Patron because you'd use it like an Inner Rage, and then you Whirlwind, and you might Whirlwind twice until you just remove the slime that you spawned. I don't really think it fits in Patron. I think this would fit more in Pirate, if Pirate is a thing. But I think Pirate is maybe gonna want Slam instead because it's gonna need the cycle to find its like damage and finishers and like synergies. So I think every warrior deck ever is going to play execute, so it needs the way the proc executes, because execute is so insane. So like I guess if you want a third, maybe this will see play. I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5. It isn't too impressing, but it's not unplayable. This is the Rusty Hook you get out of Enzoth's first mate. And this is the slime you get out Blood of Ichor. Anyways, that's it for the Warrior card review. Overall, I don't think Warrior got very good cards, but maybe that 3 mana, 3/4 card is good enough for Warrior. As I don't really think the Sathene Warrior is going to be a thing after seeing the entire set at this point, and I don't think and maybe Pirate Warrior might be a thing. It depends on what pirates are available and what they're facing against, honestly, and whether or not it's hard to deal with them. So we're just gonna have to see if Pirate Warrior is a thing. But that 3 mana 3/4 is definitely the best card of the Warrior set, and we'll definitely see play. Anyways, the next card review is going to be Warlock, as you can see. If you guys want to see my Warlock card review, go on the next video.